right, so while New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is in Florida raising cash for his fellow GOP governors, Bridgegate and a federal review of how he spent Sandy recovery aid money continue to haunt the governor. A new poll shows New Jersey registered voters are mixed on whether he's telling the truth about the bridge controversy. 46% say he's telling the truth. 32% say he is not, and 22% say they're unsure. Neal Asbury is a conservative radio talk show host in South Florida. He hosts the nationally syndicated Neal Asbury's Made in America show. So, Neal, good to see you. What are your listeners saying?
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. What are your listeners saying about Christie and these investigations?
My listeners think that the governor's just got a bum rap here. Let's be honest. I mean, this is a relatively minor political squabble in a relatively small state. Nobody got killed on that bridge. Compare that to Benghazi, where 4 Americans were killed, including an American ambassador. Nobody lost their health insurance on that bridge, yet millions of people lost their health insurance because of Obamacare. So, I mean, it's way blown out of proportion, Frederica.
Well, wait a minute. But what are your listeners saying about Chris Christie? Because, I mean, we've heard the comparisons being drawn between Benghazi or Obamacare in terms of all of the things that are haunting or this White House administration are being criticized for. But as it pertains to Chris Christie, because he's the one who's on the stage there in Florida, on the heels of or in the midst of these investigations, which are pretty darn sizable. I mean, nobody would dispute that one. But what are your listeners saying about why they either continue to support him, why they continue to support him, or why do they, believe that there's something smelly about this?
I believe that this could very well backfire on the liberals and their friends in the media because they are treating Governor Christie unfairly. And that's what my listeners are telling me. Look, my listeners prior to this, many of them were upset with the governor because of him coddling President Obama, the Obama hug. It's quite ironic that he's down here helping Governor Scott, who against another Governor Christ, who was destroyed by an Obama hug. But this is bringing, I believe, many conservatives back to Governor Christie. Quite counterintuitive that this could actually help his standing within the conservative community because they think he's being treated unfairly. It is outrageous that all of these things are going on in this country.
And
the Democrats want to pivot.
Whoa, Neal. So what do you mean that people say he's being treated unfairly? He came out in that news conference a little over a week ago. He stayed out there for a good 2 hours, tried to be,
and he apologized.
People thought he tried to be as transparent as possible. But what is it the part that you say people feel like he's being treated unfairly? In what way? What do you mean?
He came out, he was very decisive, he was very strong, he was very humble, and compare that to President Obama, who's very weak and very timid and very arrogant. So I think if you look at these two leaders, and you see Governor Christie as a real American leader right now, and as they're trying to destroy him, hey, look, Frederica, this has as much to do with Hillary as it does with Governor Christie. The Democrats want to destroy the governor because they believe he can beat Hillary, and this is their best chance of destroying him. So I think that's bringing many conservatives back to the governor because they think he's being treated unfairly.
But the arguments that are being made that if there's any destruction, it's because he's self-destructing potentially if he had anything to do with this bridge gate. While
but Frederica, there's nothing leaking him.
While so far subpoenas, as far as we know, haven't involved a subpoena of the governor, he is central
with all of the investigation that's been going on. With all the investigation that's been going on, with all of the resources that's being poured into New Jersey, people and money to destroy the governor, and they can't tie him directly to this yet, it seems to tell me and my listeners that there's nothing there.
So your feeling is this should not be investigated, that it's a waste of time and money and resources, period?
I believe this is just as much about 2016 in destroying the governor because he is a real threat to Hillary as it is as it is to any crime that was committed. Look, there's real problems in this country, and we should be talking about poverty and jobs, and that's what the Democrats don't want to talk about. They want to talk about this perceived scandal, which does not impact the vast majority of Americans. And that's wrong, and that's outrageous.
All right, Neal Asbury, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Frederica. Thank you very much.